she's being told X, Y, and Z, and I don't think much of it's sticking. I think she just wants to.
It's very important to pursue your passions, and if you're doing that, the risks are often not as great as they seem to be. So for me, when I thought about, leaving
Sobrang di ko pa mapaniwala. Maraming salamat sa suporta. Sana patuloy yung suporta niyo sa akin.
Revealed, the heartbreaking secret behind Alex Eala's tears. Coach exposes everything. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Champions Tennisitics, the only place where we dig deeper than the headlines to bring you the raw, unfiltered truth of the tennis world. If you were watching the news 30 minutes ago, you saw it. You saw the tears. You saw the heartbreak. You saw a national hero crumble before our very eyes. Alexandra Eala, the Golden Girl of Philippine tennis, the hope of millions, sat in front of a firing squad of cameras and did the unthinkable. She apologized. She looked into the lens, eyes red and swollen, and told the world she had failed. She told us she had let us down. But I am here to tell you right now, everything you think you know about that match is wrong. Stop typing that angry comment. Put down the remote. Because 5 minutes after Alex left that room, the doors burst open again and the truth came out. A truth so shocking, so painful, and so incredibly heroic that it changes everything. Alex Eala didn't lose because she wasn't good enough. She didn't lose because she couldn't handle the pressure. She lost because she was fighting a battle no one else could see. And when you hear what her coach just revealed, it will break your heart and then make it swell with pride. This is the story of the Philippine Women's Open. This is the story of the defeat that wasn't really a defeat. And this is the truth about Alexandra Eala. To understand the gravity of what happened just 30 minutes ago, we have to rewind. We have to understand the stage. This wasn't just another ITF tournament in a dusty corner of the world. This was the Philippine Women's Open. For the first time in history, the WTA 125 Tour had landed on Filipino soil. For years, we have watched Alex Eala grow up. We watched her leave her family as a child to train at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain. We watched her win the US Open Juniors. We watched her grind through the rankings, breaking into the top 50, becoming a beacon of hope for a country that is absolutely starved for a global tennis superstar. When it was announced that she would finally be playing a professional tournament at home, in Manila, the hype wasn't just big, it was suffocating. Tickets sold out in minutes. The Rizal Memorial Tennis Center wasn't just a stadium, it was a cauldron. Every seat was filled. Drums were beating. Flags were waving. It was a festival, a coronation waiting to happen. The narrative was written before the first ball was even struck. The queen comes home to claim her crown. But there was a shadow lurking over the Rizal Memorial. A shadow named Camila Osorio, the Colombian powerhouse. A former top 35 player. A warrior known for her grit, her grinding baseline game, and her refusal to ever give up. Osorio wasn't coming to Manila to be a tourist. She was coming to win. And deep inside the Eala camp, behind the smiles and the press releases, something was wrong. Very wrong. We started noticing it in the second round. Did you see it? The slight limp between points? The way Alex hesitated before pushing off her left foot? At the time, we dismissed it. Nerves, we said. Just a bit of stiffness. She's young. She'll shake it off. But as the quarterfinals approached, the whispers in the locker room grew louder. Something wasn't right with the Golden Girl of Philippine tennis, and the world was about to find out just how wrong things really were. The match began under the blistering Manila heat. The atmosphere was electric. You could feel the humidity and the tension thick in the air. When Alex walked out, the roar was deafening. The chant of her name shook the foundations of the stadium. Every Filipino in that arena believed they were about to witness history. They believed they were about to see their champion lift the trophy on home soil. But from the very first game, the script went off the rails. Camila Osorio is a shark. If she smells blood, she attacks. And she smelled it immediately. She started moving Alex side to side, grueling rallies, drop shots, deep lobs. She forced Alex to run, to stop, to pivot. And Alex looked a step slow. That explosive first step we are used to seeing? It wasn't there. That backhand down the line that she usually hits with laser precision? It was sailing wide, missing by inches. The crowd tried to lift her. Every time Alex won a point, the stadium erupted. But you could see the pain etched on her face. It wasn't the pain of losing, it was physical agony. There were moments in the first set which she lost 4 games to 6, where she winced after a serve. There were moments she looked up at her box, not with anger, but with desperation. Her team sat there, helpless, watching their warrior try to will herself through something that should have been medically impossible. The first set slipped away. Osorio was relentless, pounding ball after ball deep into the corners, making Alex chase, making her plant that foot over and over again. Every Filipino watching felt the creeping dread. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not here. Not now. Not in front of her people. But tennis is a cruel sport. It doesn't care about narratives. It doesn't care about fairy tales. It only cares about who can hit the ball better on that particular day. The second set was a war of attrition. Alex fought. My God, did she fight? Down a set, playing against a superior opponent on the day, she dug deep into that reserve of courage that defines a champion. She broke Osorio's serve. The crowd exploded. Hope flooded back into the arena like a tidal wave. She leveled the match at 3-games-all, then 4-all. For a fleeting moment, we thought the miracle was possible. We thought sheer willpower would be enough. But then came the critical moment at 4-games-all. Alex chased down a drop shot, one of dozens Osorio had thrown at her throughout the match. She planted her foot to change direction, and the stadium went silent. She didn't fall, but she froze. A grimace of pure torture flashed across her face. You could see it even from the top rows. Something had given way. Something had broken. She lost the point. She lost the game. And minutes later, despite saving match points, despite the crowd begging for a comeback, it was over. 6-games-to-4, 6-games-to-4. Camila Osorio advanced. The dream was dead. The silence in the stadium was haunting. It wasn't just disappointment, it was shock. We expected a fight to the death, but it felt anticlimactic. It felt like Alex hadn't given her 100%. People began filing out, some crying, some angry, all confused. How could this have happened? How could the moment we'd all been waiting for end like this? And that is what made the next 30 minutes so incredibly painful. Because what we didn't know, what none of us could have known, was that Alex Eala had just played the match of her life. Not in terms of results, but in terms of pure, unadulterated courage. 30 minutes ago, Alex Eala walked into the press room. She was wearing her national team jacket, but she looked smaller than we've ever seen her. Her eyes were red. She had been crying in the locker room, and the makeup team couldn't hide it. She sat down, adjusted the microphone, and before the first question could even be finished, she broke down. The quote is already circulating around the world, but let me read it to you again, because the context is heartbreaking. She choked out through tears, telling everyone that she had let down the people who have always supported her. She said she had let down her country. Can you imagine the weight on a 20-year-old's shoulders to say that? She continued, not blaming anyone, taking full responsibility for what she called her failure. She told the world she tried so hard, but that day it wasn't enough. She wanted to give everyone a trophy. She wanted to make her people proud, and she believed she had failed. She took full responsibility. She didn't make excuses. She didn't talk about the court surface, or the heat, or the referee. She took the dagger and plunged it into her own heart. She let the world believe that she simply choked, that the pressure was too much, that she wasn't ready for the big stage. In that moment, Alexandra Eala sacrificed her own reputation to protect everyone else. The tournament organizers, the sponsors, her team, even her opponent. She would rather the world think she was weak than admit what was really happening. Social media lit up immediately. The critics, the armchair experts who have never held a racket, started typing. They called her overrated. They called her mentally weak. They said she couldn't handle the pressure. The toxicity was instant. The same people who had been cheering her name an hour before were now tearing her apart. They took her apology as an admission of weakness. They took her tears as proof that she wasn't cut out for the big time. But while Alex was crying on live television, her coaching staff was standing in the back of the room. And I want you to picture this. Her head coach, face red with emotion, fists clenched, shaking his head. He couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't watch his player, his warrior, fall on her sword to protect a secret. He had promised her he wouldn't say anything. He had given her his word. But watching her destroy herself in front of the world was too much. As Alex was escorted out, sobbing, the coach stepped up to the microphone. He didn't wait for an invite. He grabbed the mic, and he dropped the bombshell that has turned the tennis world upside down. What he revealed in the next 5 minutes changed everything we thought we knew about that match, about Alex Eala, and about what it really means to be a champion. The room was clearing out. Journalists were closing their laptops, already composing their headlines about Eala's collapse under pressure. And then, the coach's voice boomed through the speakers. He told everyone to sit down. Nobody was leaving. If they wanted the story, he was going to give them the real story. He looked furious, not at Alex, but for her. He began by saying he had just heard what Alex said. She told everyone she failed them. She told them she let the country down. She apologized for losing. He paused, looking directly into the camera, and then delivered the words that would echo around the sports world. What she didn't tell you, he said, what she explicitly forbade the team from telling anyone, is that she shouldn't have been walking that day, let alone playing professional tennis. A gasp went through the room. Reporters scrambled to turn their recorders back on. Cameras swiveled back to focus on the coach. What was he saying? He revealed that 3 days ago, in practice, Alex had suffered a grade 2 tear in her ankle ligaments. The doctors told her to withdraw. The coach told her to withdraw. Her family told her to withdraw. They did MRI scans. Her foot was swollen to twice its normal size. She had been in the physio room for 6 hours a day just to be able to put a shoe on. The pain was excruciating. Any normal person would have been on crutches. The coach pulled out his phone and held it up to the cameras. It was a photo taken just hours before the match. Alex's ankle was black and blue, taped heavily, looking painful just to look at. The swelling was grotesque. Medical professionals watching would later say that playing on an ankle in that condition was medically inadvisable at best, dangerous at worst. The risk of turning a grade 2 tear into a complete rupture was enormous. But she refused. The coach continued, tears now welling in his own eyes. She looked at him and said that her people were there. They had bought tickets. She would not quit. If she had to crawl, she would play. She took pain injections just to walk out of that tunnel. She played 2 hours of high-intensity tennis against a world-class player like Camila Osorio, essentially on one leg. The silence in that room was absolute. You could have heard a pin drop. The coach's voice rose with emotion. She didn't lose because she was weak, he shouted, slamming his hand on the table. She lost because her body physically wouldn't let her run anymore. But her spirit? Her spirit didn't break. That apology everyone just heard? That was the most selfless thing he had ever seen in his entire coaching career. She took the blame because she didn't want people to worry. She didn't want to use the injury as an excuse. She wanted to protect the tournament. She is not a failure, he declared. She is the toughest athlete he has ever coached in his entire life. Let that sink in for a moment. While we were analyzing her backhand errors, while the critics were calling her mentally fragile, Alexandra Eala was playing through a grade 2 ligament tear. Do you know what that feels like? It feels like walking on broken glass with every step. It feels like someone is stabbing a knife into your ankle every time you push off. The pain is blinding, nauseating, all-consuming. Every time she planted her foot to hit her return, she was fighting through that blinding pain. Every time she served, the shockwave traveled up a compromised limb. And she didn't call the trainer between games. She didn't limp theatrically to get sympathy. She bit down on her mouthguard and played. She ran down balls that she had no business reaching. She fought for every single point like her life depended on it. She played because she knew what this tournament meant to the Philippines. She played because she saw the little girls in the stands holding signs with her name on them. She saw the families who had saved up money to buy tickets. She saw the elderly fans who had waited decades to see professional women's tennis in their country. She knew that if she withdrew, hearts would break. So she chose to break her own body instead. This changes the entire narrative of the match against Osorio. Suddenly, those missed shots aren't errors. They are miracles that she even reached the ball. Suddenly, that 4-6 scoreline isn't a defeat. It is a testament to an impossible level of talent. To take a player like Osorio to a tight 2-setter on one leg, that is world-class. That is legendary. That is the kind of performance that defines careers. Think about it. Camila Osorio is ranked in the top 100 in the world. She has beaten top 20 players. She has competed at Grand Slams. And Alex Eala, playing on what was essentially one functioning leg, took her to the wire. If Alex had been healthy, if she had been able to move freely, what would the score have been? We'll never know. But one thing is certain, it would have been a very different match. And here is the final piece of the puzzle that proves just how incredible this performance was. We now have reports coming from the Osorio camp. Camilo Osorio, the victor, was seen talking to Alex at the net after the match. We couldn't hear it at the time, but lip readers and insiders have confirmed what was said. Usually, the handshake is a quick formality, a brief acknowledgement before both players move on. But Osorio held Alex's hand for a long time. She looked her in the eye. Osorio reportedly said that she saw Alex limping. She told her she was crazy for playing. She said much respect. Even her opponent knew. Osorio, a veteran of the tour, recognized the signs midway through the match. She realized she wasn't fighting a fully fit opponent, but a wounded lioness refusing to die. And in her post-match interview, which went largely unnoticed until this revelation, Osorio called Alex a great competitor and said she was going to be a champion for a long time. The tennis courts of the world are waiting for you. The Grand Slam stages are waiting for you. Your destiny is waiting for you. And when you get there, when you achieve everything you're capable of achieving, we'll look back on this moment. We'll look back on the day you played through the pain in Manila, and we'll know that this was the day a champion was forged. This story is still developing. We are waiting for the official medical report from the Eala team, and we will bring that to you the second it drops. We'll be following her recovery closely, providing updates, and we'll be there when she makes her return to competition. But for now, the narrative is clear. The headline isn't Eala loses. The headline is Eala survives. The headline is Eala inspires. The headline is Eala shows us what a champion really looks like. What do you think? Was the coach right to reveal her secret medical information to save her reputation? Or should he have let her keep her privacy, even if it meant the world judging her unfairly? And do you think Alex was brave or reckless to play on a torn ankle? These are questions worth debating, questions that don't have easy answers. I want to hear your thoughts. This is a debate that is going to rage on for days, maybe weeks. The sports world loves these kinds of stories, these moments where the line between heroism and foolishness gets blurred. Sound off in the comments below. Tell me if you think Alex made the right call. Tell me if you would have done the same thing in her position. Tell me what this story means to you. And listen, if you want to stay updated on Alex's recovery and get the real news that the mainstream media misses, you need to be subscribed to this channel. We are Champions Tennisitics. We don't just watch the match, we feel it. We don't just report the score, we tell you the story behind the score. We dig deeper. We ask the hard questions. We bring you the truth. Hit that like button if you respect Alex Eala's courage. Hit it if you think she's the kind of athlete we need more of in sports. Hit it if this story moved you, if it made you see tennis differently, if it made you appreciate what these athletes go through. Smash that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss the update on her injury status. We'll be bringing you exclusive coverage of her rehabilitation, interviews with her team if we can get them, and analysis of what this means for her career going forward. You don't want to miss any of it. Share this video. Share it with every tennis fan you know. Share it with every Filipino who needs to hear this story. Share it with anyone who needs a reminder of what real courage looks like. This is a story that deserves to be told, that needs to be told, that will be remembered for years to come. For Champions Tennisitics, thank you for watching. Thank you for caring about these stories as much as we do. Thank you for being part of this community. We'll see you in the next video with more updates, more analysis, and more stories from the world of tennis that you won't find anywhere else.
I think overachieving is a thing, as they say, dream big. I think that we had the potential to...
Alex, after a terrific year last year, how does it feel to be making your main draw debut at Melbourne?
It feels great. I'm super excited. Kamusta mga kapong Pinoy? Surprise! Excited na akong imbitahin kayong lahat na manood sa mga laban ko sa Mubadala Abu